Hello everyone and welcome back to AustinPlays Gaming, where today, like we did last time, we are going to be reviewing the worst type of characters in Marvel Rivals. Last time we did Vanguards, but this time we're doing healers. So without further ado, let's just get into it. Might look a bit versatile, but you can switch between healing and damage. But when it comes to actually keeping your team alive, they fall short. Here's why they might be one of the worst healers in Marvel Rivals. First, let's break down the healing works. Now, Dagger in her form has a bouncing projectile that heals allies and damages enemies. She also has a projectile ability where she throws down 3 daggers that forms a bubble that gives her and other teammates 55 plus HP for a lasting of 6 seconds. She can also create a moving wall that heals her teammates for 45 HP and gives everyone else a 15% healing boost to anyone touched by it within the 4 seconds. Now, the last ultimate is probably one of the best. However, they dash in a trail, leaving a healing carpet that pluses 250 health per second that heals allies while damaging enemies. But here's the problem: you have to constantly swap between Dagger and Cloak to stay safe, which limits how much healing you can output safely. When you're Cloak, you're not healing, you're doing damage or repositioning. Another huge problem is execution and positioning. According to many players, Dagger Storm, that ability where you throw down 3 projectiles that heals enemies within a bubble, it has a very small radius, making it hard to reliably heal multiple teammates. Only maximum of 3 people can probably fit, especially in a fast chaotic fight. With the Veil of Light Force, if you aim carefully, you're spot on. But if teammates don't walk through the wall and they miss out on both the healing and the healing bonus, plus switching Cloak because of the brief wind up, it leaves you vulnerable if you're trying to dodge or reposition. So your healing isn't always reliable especially when you need it the most. On top of all that, the actual healing output is quite underwhelming compared to other healers like Loki. Some players also argue that Dagger is one of the weakest strategists when it comes to raw healing. Now, the last ability, where the Eternal Bond or their ultimate, sounds great in theory. The 4 dashes that leave behind a healing trail, but in practice is quite risky. The healing carpet only applies if allies stay inside the trail. If they run out or don't stick to it, you lose a ton of value. Some players note that because they can switch between Cloak and Dagger, they might abandon their healing role mid-fight, reducing the benefit of the ult. There's also a timing problem. You need teammates to commit to staying in their ult, and many don't do that, especially under pressure. All of this can make this ultimately less reliable as a team saver. So yeah, Cloak and Dagger might be flashy and flexible, but when it comes to being a dependable healer, they fall short. Their healing is gated by form switching, and their abilities can be hard to execute, and the sustain doesn't always match up with other healers. This next one, he may look adorable and he has a quirky playstyle, but when it comes to reliability healing, Jeff might actually be one of the weakest healers, and here's why. Jeff's kit is designed for sustained healing and creative positioning. His main attack, Joyful Splash, heals allies and even damages enemies, but not to the extent that you would think. He also has Hide and Seek, where he dives underground and gains movement speed, wall crawl ability, and heals himself while submerged. However, this has changed ever so slightly, where this shift has been timed. There is also his healing bubbles, where Jeff spits out a bubble that allies can pick up to receive healing plus a movement boost. His ultimate, however, is wide. He swallows both enemies and allies, where he heals allies inside and creates a healing pool and gives bonus health and overflow. But sounds strong, but there's some big problems with it, especially glitches nowadays. First, recent reworks and nerfs have hit Jeff hard. According to patch notes, his Hide and Seek healing has been cut down from 35 seconds to 15 when he's submerged. That massive drop in his self-sustainability is massive. His Joyful Splash also got nerfed. So his healing is reduced, meaning his spray and heal beam is less effective than before. Plus, his healing bubble now only has 3 charges, down for more, with a cooldown limiting how often he can burst heals. All of this makes Jeff less reliable to consistently keep teammates alive, especially in chaotic fights. His ultimate sounds great because you swallow allies, heal them, dropping a heal pool, but execution is extremely risky. If you mistime it, you can accidentally swallow enemies, which wastes the heal. And his bonus health conversion caps at 150 bonus HP, which isn't always enough to save heavily damaged teammates. Also, the healing pool only lasts for 8 seconds, which can be too short to fully support on all teammates in a fight. All this makes his ultimate powerful in theory, but inconsistent and risky in practice. Despite being a healer, Jeff actually is pretty squishy, and in terms of that, he's basically a sponge. His base health is 250, so if he's caught out of position, especially when his healing abilities are on cooldown, he can be one shot or heavily pressured. Also, while he gets some damage reduction against critical hits, that doesn't protect him from sustained burst damage. Jeff's mobility is great, but his durability is weak for a support. The community isn't exactly thrilled either. Some players say that his healing numbers don't compare to other healers. Even though Jeff is a heavily healing focused and he was one of the raved about at the beginning of the season, my healing numbers never seem to get close to like I do with other characters. So, is Jeff the Landshark the worst healer in Marvel Rivals? Maybe, or at least one of the weakest right now. His nerfed healing, risky ultimate, and vulnerability make him less reliable than other support picks. Now, last but not least is my favorite healer. However, in the justification of things, he's not the best. Rocket Raccoon is not actually great at healing if you know how to use him, and also you have other crappy healers on your team. A lot of players just think, no, he doesn't work as a healer, and he might be one of the weakest healers in the game, but here's why. So his healing ability comes from repair mode. He fires bouncing orbs and ricochet off walls up to about 10 times to heal allies. These orbs heal about 50 HP, and if they direct hit an ally, they can give an additional 50 HP on instant heal. But if he heals himself, the effectiveness is only 25, so his self-sustain is weak. He also has the BRB, the Battle Burst Beacon, which basically just heals a fallen teammate within a certain radius, and also throws out plus generate armor packs, which basically give you extra heals or extra overshield. And for utility, he has a Cosmic Yarn Amplifier, which is basically his ultimate, which grants nearby allies bonus health, but this is important because it's capped at 150, so when it decays, that is actually not that great. Now here's where things fall apart. Rocket's healing isn't very burst-like. If teammates are caught in a dive or under heavy damage, his orbs can't save them fast enough. His orbs bounce, yes, but only 50 HP, and also that's if they actually make it to your teammates, which is kind of slow for critical moments. Also, that 50 HP direct hit is nice, but to land it you need aim, and orbs are slow moving. If you're healing multiple people, the orbs might spread too thin or bounce in weird directions and not give optimal healing. And according to many, most Rocket players spend 95% of their time just spamming orbs. Plus his self-heal is only half as strong, meaning if he's low, he can't reliably heal himself to escape or survive. There is no denying Rocket is a bit squishy as well. His base health is a bit low, making him an easy target, and his jetpack dash, which he relies on for mobility, has a long cooldown, which is 10 seconds per charge. If he gets caught healing and he isn't positioned well, he just dies like that. On top of that, his BRB Revive Beacon can be destroyed by enemies quite quickly or placed poorly, which is just a waste of value. So part of the problem might be how Rocket is designed. He is a very easy healer, but he's not a pure healer, and his kit asks him to juggle healing, utility and damage. And remember, he hasn't got a really big kit anyway. According to some high-level Rocket players, I'm not trying to flex, but that is me, if you only heal, you're not maximizing his value. I've managed to only just start to understand the damage and the healing. I get about 15 to 20k healing now, but with about 5 to 7k damage. But you still can get massive damage and kills on that. Because he has aim to heal, he can't reliably burst in heal and clutch moments. He struggles to be a save my teammate type character, which like other healers is a bit stronger, but they also have protective ults. And when he is doing damage, his healing output drops. Plus, some argue his ultimate, the amplifier, isn't really a healing bit for his teammates the way you would really want it to be. So yeah, Rocket Raccoon might look like a cute and agile healer, but under the surface, his healing has serious trade-offs. His sustain is low, his burst heal options are weak, his vulnerable, and his utility doesn't always make up for his lack of clutch healing. Many players argue that for a strategist, he just doesn't deliver when it counts.
Well, that is the end of today's video. I do hope you all enjoyed it, and if you did, please leave a like, subscribe, and comment what else you'd like to see on the channel. But without further ado, hope you have an amazing day as always, and I'll see you all in the next one, folks. Bye!
Yeah!